Hello, everyone. I'm Muskan, your host for today's episode. As we know, Cine'ta is back with another amazing season. Today, our guest is Ankit Santra. So, Mr. Ankit Santra, welcome to our show, and I would like you to tell us something about you.
Thank you very much. I am Ankit, and I am a filmmaker from India, but like I did my film schooling from London, so I'm settled here right now. And I've made quite a few films in India and here as well, mostly short films. But I'm also currently working, like helping with a feature. Let's see how far it goes. But I mean, it's been quite a bittersweet experience because being an indie filmmaker, the main problem is resources, but then getting the best out of the limited resources we have is the thrill we get out of this profession. So yeah, good.
Okay, Bhaiya, it's very good to know that we are actually seeing such new faces of film enthusiasts and they're so into filmmaking, and you guys are actually bringing so much new to the industry and everything.
Mhm.
So, Bhaiya, my first question for you would be that how did you develop interest in this industry?
I used to be a painter before, and then like when we started exploring the new content and how we can draw inspirations from fine arts or theater or other stuff into something that's presentable and has a kind of shelf life where even if you're not physically present with the person you're presenting it to, you can still show it to them, is what initially drew my interest to films. And then I started watching more and more films and started to develop a language of my own, at least trying to learn a language of my own. And it's always fun, to reach out to audience. Like without films, I would have probably not been able to reach out to you as well. So it's always good.
So, Bhaiya, as we know that we see that there is a lot of more interesting genres in this
Hmm.
industry, and it's developing. And as we see that nowadays mobile making is like doing films in mobiles has become more easier and it's more efficient. So what
Hmm.
would you define as your own definition for mobile filmmaking?
I mean, mobile filmmaking. I personally think it's a new way out, and it's not just indie film level, even at Hollywood level. With Tangerine film was
Yes.
made in phone, and we had a recent short film in India called Fursat by Vishal Bharadwaj, which was also shot on an iPhone. So because it's so handy, and the more you get mobile with the camera, the more you get flexible with the camera, the more avenues it opens up for framing, composition, and new ways of storytelling. So it's always better to have kind of experimentations with the visual form, and that only helps you tell the story better to the audience.
Yes, well, surely. And so, as we know that you have been a participant of DIMFF last year. So, how was your experience with us? Like, what was your film about? As we know that Dead White Storks was one of
Yeah, yeah.
the one that you submitted. So, can you please tell us something about your film? What was the genre? Where did you get the idea from for that?
Mhm. I mean, with Dead White Talk was a 4 minute silent short. It was about the Ukraine war that's going on right now, and it was a very experimental piece. But just because it was experimental was probably why I had the courage to, move to iPhone and not a film camera and like see how it goes. The film is about the hypocrisy and the politics of promises, and it's both ways. Like we blame Russia for the massacre it's doing in Ukraine, but also for the rest of the white countries, including the one I live in, because they readily accept refugees from Ukraine, but they don't do the same when the color of the skin changes. So someone from Somalia, probably, or Africa or India, is not as welcome as an Ukrainian in Britain or other European countries. So it's kind of a culmination experimentation on politics of promises, and there's this woman who's the epitome of the seat of power, and this dead white stork, which happens to be the national bird of Ukraine, which is bearing the brunt of the politics around the world.
Yes, sir. So actually, I was one of the audience in that
Hmm.
in our last film festival, and I did see the movie. So I found it very interesting that it had like we know about all the situations that we are in our surrounding,
Hmm.
but sometimes we are very scared to, point this out. But I think that was
Mm.
very brave of you to actually present it to
Oh,
the
thank
world
you.
and to our country as well. So we actually found it very interesting, and it was very nice, that
Thank you.
in like people in our generation are taking new steps.
Hmm.
They're actually
Yeah.
forming a very good connection with all these, the ties that we can't find or we are
Yeah.
unable to speak about. So I think that movies and these kind of films are actually mm, bringing a new impact to our
Thank you.
world.
Thank you. In fact, I was really excited about your film festival, and while I was going through, especially because it's conducted by students and the youth,
Yeah,
and every the mainly the people who are gonna bring the change to the world. But unfortunately, while the festival was going on, I was really sick. I was kind of almost hospitalized, so I
that's
couldn't
so sad. Yeah.
see her. Yeah, sadly, but uh, like I'd really be eager to watch it for the upcoming season or
Yes,
the
hopefully, Bhaiya.
upcoming
And
version of the film festival.
we would love if you participate in the next ones as well.
Surely.
Okay, so Bhaiya, what are your opinion on the changes or evolution the mobile filmmaking is bringing to our industry?
Well, I'm really hopeful. I don't think it's gonna affect the film industry in a negative way because, like, the same way OTT did not affect the film industry or social media content, TikTok content did not affect the OTT. How film industry did not affect the theater industry is how I think it's only making it better and more democratic in a sense that even without resources or just if you have the language, the urge to tell a story and not the money or the people or network, you can still make a film and put it out for the world to see. So yeah, it's really good for young filmmakers who just wanna like be in the industry but don't have connections. It's a good way to start.
Yes, yeah. So,
Yeah.
would you like to give some of the amateurs or the young filmmakers some advice that how could they polish their skills? Like anything that helped you in your journey?
Um, I mean, to be the devil's advocate, I would say that networking is very important in this industry. But I mean, it's not just for making money, but also because the more you talk to people who are already here established and who have seen how the market or the world works, they can give you like they can teach you how to make films better and how to tell your story in a more efficient way. But also just to make bad films, experiment with them and just go about it, put it on social media because now social media is there, so it's way more accessible and you get instant feedback from people in terms of comments. Like even if you make a bad film on social media, it's not gonna have a lasting impression like it would before, like when it was just the film industry. Once you make a film, the world knows you for it, and then you get the harsh comments. Your image is shaped around how you put it in public, but now in social media it's not that case. Like you can make 10 films and put it on social media and it's still not gonna affect your public figure or image. So that way I think it's really, in terms of genres, the more you experiment, the more filmmaking or TikToks or phone filmmaking flourish, the more genres it opens up. So the I feel it's getting more interactive nowadays. Like before, film used to be something we watch from a distance, but now with these kind of social media content, you directly talk to the audience. You can engage with them. You can do lives. You can get more into the sets of films with these kind of live sessions. So you should always like never stop, keep making films, even if they're bad. No one's gonna judge you for that.
Yes, yeah. So that was
Yeah.
actually a really nice thing, a note for the youngsters, because we
Yeah.
are always like, everyone's like in their awkward
Mhm.
position when they're just new to everything. So I
Yeah.
guess we should explore everything and like
Yeah.
if we have interest, we should actually work on it. So, Bhaiya,
Yeah.
just like you mentioned about the social media impact.
Mhm.
So, like we know that there are advantages as well as disadvantages. So,
Mhm.
how should one self actually weigh it? That how should they use it to in a better way?
I mean, I don't know. In social media, the worse the video is, the more viral it gets, I feel. But
Yes.
uh, but it's also been the case with films. Like the more masala a film is without a brainy quotient, the more it reaches the audience. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like I mean, you just can't make films or sort of screen content about intelligent people. It's also the other kind, like people who belong from the backward society or the downtrodden, who deserve an equal chance to get to watch a film or something aligned with it. So it's there's nothing wrong. You should, like, I don't discourage making films that are not intellectual. Like, I would enjoy watching a Rohit Shetty film as much as I would enjoy watching a Nuha Shumayan film. So they are brilliant. Like, I have nothing to say about it. Like, I don't judge people for doing crazy stuff on TikTok or
I guess
Instagram. Yeah, it's
sometimes
completely
doing
fine.
crazy stuff actually makes them popular as well. That's what
Yeah,
we
it
see in
does.
social medias most of the times.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And I mean, to amass that kind of a audience base, to have millions of views on your video is a credit in itself. So you can't disregard their talent or marketing skills. Mm.
Exactly. So we're moving on. What were the ups and downs that you faced during your whole journey, or even just while
Mhm.
filming your film, Dead White Stories?
I mean, the biggest downslide I still face is trying to sell my film or trying to get it to festivals, because the language of films are changing every year, and film festivals are also getting more and more eager to get films on social causes that are not essentially the ones that you relate to. So, kind of, it's always a tough journey. I guess it's going to be a tough journey till the rest of my filmmaking career. But other than that, I really enjoy doing stuff. I also enjoy talking to other young filmmakers who also want to make films. They have their own politics, their own languages, their own forms, and it's fun. But it's not a high paying job, but it's still fun.
Yeah. Like everyone's working in this industry would actually
Yeah,
agree that they're doing it because they have interest in it, because
yeah,
it's actually fun for them to do it. Right. So,
yeah.
for example, you are enthusiastic about making films.
Hmm.
So that would actually, if you're good at it, and if you see that people are actually recognizing your work,
Hmm.
you'll be more boosted, and you will feel that you're motivated to do it more.
Yeah.
So, well, I want to know that what was like while growing up, we know that not everyone's like, even our parents are not into like, they would not motivate us, like few.
Definitely. Yeah,
Because like, why would you make films? Why do you want to be a director or maybe
yeah.
like anything related to this industry? So, but like,
Hmm.
how did you combat all these stuffs?
Um, I probably didn't have to combat them in that way, because the single child syndrome that happens is,
Yeah.
I'm my parents' single child, so they wouldn't force me to do something in a way. I can imagine what would have been if I was the younger sibling. Like, so, that way they give me certain liberty to do it, but I, of course, there are expectations from them, and you get into a pressure situation once in a while when when you're not earning that much for, like, from what you probably would have if you did a conventional job. But then it's also fun, it's also experimentation, and like, my parents are not dependent on me, so I don't have that much pressure to, like, take care of them or things like that, so they're encouraging in a way.
That is great, very great to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, moving on. So, did like the Dead White Stories, like it was
Hmm.
a basically about the underlying reasons or something around our surrounding which
Hmm.
actually concerns with wars. So where
Hmm.
did the audience that you actually showed it to, did they actually interpret it the way you wanted them to, or they had a new side of it?
No, I mean, for the Dead White Stock especially, there have been multiple interpretations, because there was no dialogues in the film, and it was an experimental piece. So a lot of people interpreted in different ways, but I actually enjoy that. I would actually enjoy people reading my films different ways. It's the same way you read a painting. So, being from a finance background, this actually intrigues me, is because you are not there sitting beside the painting to explain it to them. It's just the way
Yes, ma'am.
how they read it is how it's conveyed to them, and it's good in a way that the people who are watching it are putting their own thoughts, their own knowledge behind interpreting the film. and then they're coming up with a sense which is not very different from what it was meant to say, but similar. So, sometimes people interpret in a way that probably I didn't think of. So it's like, oh my God, that's the eureka moment for me, is like something that accidentally happened and worked for the film. Is yeah,
Yes.
that's all about it.
Okay, so like if it's like our festival is more about mobile filmmaking and how
Mhm.
our new generations are portraying their work. So,
Mhm.
Bhaiya, do you view mobile filmmaking as the future of global filmmaking? What changes has it brought into like the journalism life or the news industry? What is your point of
I
view?
mean, I think for the journalism industry, mobile filmmaking is gonna work wonders because I mean, but they don't anyway use as high-end cameras as film industry,
Yes.
and mobile technology is only getting better day by day. You also get like detachable lenses and gimbals and everything for phones, so it's a camera setup of its own, and the way it was already superior to cameras in terms of wireless connection. I think the journalism industry is only going to benefit. There's no disadvantage to that industry from phone filmmaking. But for the film industry, I guess there are some things that still make people want to stick to the conventional methods. Like even after digital films, there are filmmakers who choose to make like shoot in film because of the look that a film gives. The same way, there are certain looks that professional cine cameras give that probably phones will take some time to develop. But other than that, I think like if you have that kind of language and that kind of shot division and stuff, you can easily go and shoot on a phone.
Okay, Bhaiya. So, what are your future plans? Are you working on something?
Yes, sort of. I'm also like working on scripts, trying to pitch them in pitch labs for festivals. And like I said, I'm helping a friend with a feature. Let's see how it goes. And like that feature is not going to be mine; it's going to be his. But let's see how it
This
goes.
is very
Let's
helping. That's actually good. So, Bhaiya, like when growing up, what was something or any incident or any situation that actually made an impact in your life and that your interest in filmmaking was aroused by it? Was there like
um
anything interesting that actually happened?
yeah, I mean it's actually not very interesting in a way, but the change of like the change of the central government in India in 2014 when the Modi government came. At that point, the religious intolerance that started growing in the country. It's like it's not even just the government; it's the hidden religious intolerance in the people, because the people didn't change with the government. The people are the same. It's the same people who used to be more accepting before that time are going into riots now. So that's what was really glaring, because I didn't feel safe around the people I used to live and I used to grow up in front of. So that's something that started making me more anxious about this thing that needs to be addressed. And that's also kind of the topic for almost all my films, is the role of an onlooker. Is the government or the politicians will do what they need to do to make themselves richer and bigger and more powerful. But as a common man, if you like watch it from a distance and don't do anything about it, you are also not being apolitical. You are also aligning with the kind of injustice that's going on in the society. So that was one pivotal moment, that also because I also started doing more cartoons, more paintings and films on the same topic after that.
Okay, Bhaiya. So like you were actually discussing about the convenient ways for filmmaking, for the traditional filmmaking, and what we
Mhm.
are doing now as mobile filmmaking. So, how convenient is mobile filmmaking in India compared to traditional filmmaking methods?
And anyway, well, like anywhere in the world, I think mobile filmmaking is way more convenient. And the if you have if you have done your pre-production well, it virtually reduces the time of setup during shoot to half if you shoot on a phone rather than a film camera. And also because the film setup is the phone setup is smaller, you can go to places where you probably can't with a professional cine camera. That opens up a lot of kind of ways, and in fact, not just ways, even locations. If you have to shoot with a proper cine camera and proper cine lights, you probably cannot shoot in smaller locations for the kind of setup that's needed. But even for remote zones, for smaller compartment, more compact zones, you can include that space with a phone. So it's getting more and more personal, more and more intimate with the audience, the way you can reach with a phone camera.
That's fair. So that's really great to know that you're actually like I'm feeling like I have no idea about filmmaking, but when I'm hearing all these
Oh no,
words and like everything from you, I'm learning so much.
oh no, it's a both way process always.
So bhaiya,
So,
like we know that like Bollywood has a very big impact on the whole film
mhm,
industry, the worldwide. Like we know
mhm,
that any like there are like I guess everyone's gonna know a Hollywood song, even if you ask any
mhm.
people from London or maybe America, they are going to guess SRK song or something.
Yeah, they
So
do.
we know that it's actually revolutionary, that it's bringing
Mhm,
maybe the community is getting more
mhm.
closer to each other. So what's your aspects on it?
I mean, I think Bollywood has always been a huge, huge industry. I mean, it's not just Bollywood; it's also the South Asian industry right now. And because from Bangladesh also, a lot of, like I mentioned, Noha Shomayan and also Mahdi Hassan, San City, Moshari, etc. All of them are getting a lot of recognition all across the world. And we as an industry had always been like, specifically for Bollywood, I knew like the number of films that come from India are almost three times the number of films Hollywood produces every year. And it's always been that way. But because it's a first world country, and India or Bangladesh and our South Asian countries are not, so probably we didn't get the amount of limelight we deserved. But now, with these people getting more and more accepting towards us, they're getting to see the best of our films, and in fact Asian films, Chinese films, Japanese films, Korean films are also getting recognition all across the world, since the film industry started to grow. And it's always good. It feels amazing to get to watch films from these places get more recognition.
Yes, Vaya. So what's your favorite movie or any film?
It's really difficult to say. Like, I don't have something like that. No, 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 no. I don't have a
Your
favorite.
top three,
Mine,
yeah, please.
nah,
It's
top.
great.
Yeah, because I mean, it changes every time. Like every time I watch a new film, it becomes favorite for almost a week, a month. Yes, yeah, that way. It's really difficult to say. Yeah,
Okay, Vaya. So I
but
think
like I can say the films I really I'm eager on watching. Like the ones I really want to watch after the Cannes Film Festival gets over this time is Kennedy by Anurag Kashyap, the Nuri Bill Salem film, and probably Asteroid City by
oh,
Wes Anderson.
that's
Yeah,
really high set of
yeah,
options that you have actually told us.
yeah. Because these three really, because I was watching the reactions, and these three were like they blew audience minds apart in the
Yes,
festival. So let's see if we can get to see them soon.
yes, Bhaiya. So, Bhaiya, I
Mm.
think we're at the end of our interview.
Mhm.
So, Bhaiya, it was really great talking to you. We had a
Yeah,
very
lovely talking to
good
you as well.
time,
Yeah.
and I actually got to learn so much. Like I didn't have that much knowledge in this industry, but like hosting for Cine'ta has actually
Mhm.
made it so much interesting for me because I get to meet new people. You guys are
Mhm.
so brilliant in what you're doing and like
No, no,
bringing so
thank
much
you very
good
much.
into the
Thank you.
community
Really,
as well. So, Bhaiya, this
thank you
was
very
an
much.
absolutely amazing honor for me to be here with
Mhm.
you. I got to learn a lot. Hopefully, we'll meet in the future. And thank you so much for giving us your
Likewise, thank you very much. I have great expectations from the festival. I'll probably try to attend, or at least virtually, the
time.
next time you
Yes,
host the festival.
sure. So, thank you so much, Bhaiya. We had a
Thank
great
you,
time with you today.
thank you.
So, that was it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our new episode and it was actually very helpful for a lot of viewers as we know that Mr. Ankit Santra actually shared a lot of his experience with us. So as we know that the DIMFF 24 is on and the film submissions are also on. So don't forget to submit your films ASAP because the deadline is coming soon. Thank you so much.